Join me and my special guest, Dr. Lauren Pelkey, for episode 111 of the Feel Light Mind and Body podcast, Essential Tips with My Chiropractor, and Why Sustainable Health Matters. Dr. Lauren's tagline on Instagram is helping you experience a vibrant life. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into. How small, sustainable steps help you to feel better, to move freely, and to create a healthier life. We wish we could have captured some of the bloopers or saved them, but it's a learning curve as I go into video, so I had to edit a lot of them out. Anyway, we had some good laughs. You will probably see some of that if you're watching it on YouTube, which that's new now to have video. And I'm going to do as many podcasts as I can on there, but there's going to be times it will still be audio. I'm practicing what I preach, that until I get support in place for the editing, and it's just myself, I will be making sure that I'm not overstressing myself, because then that defeats the purpose of feeling light, mind and body. I'm excited for you to hear her gift wrapping advice on how to protect yourself while wrapping gifts. We all know that's what's coming up in the next couple of weeks if you're watching this in real time. For those finding me for the first time, my name is Clarenda Price. Welcome. Glad to have you here. I'm a certified life and weight loss coach, and I help women who are thriving in so many areas, yet struggle with weight loss, stress eating, and lower energy levels. Using the science-based principles in the Feel Light Mind and Body program, I guide clients to build sustainable habits that allows them to lose weight without spending hours at the gym or relying on willpower. Combining Dr. Lauren's mission of helping you live a vibrant life, along with my approach to weight loss simplified, this episode will show you how to look better, feel better, and move better. And most importantly, in a way that will last. Kick back, enjoy, and get ready to receive some tips to help you live a healthier 2025. Today, we're diving into something unique, and that is the connection between physical alignment and sustainable health. I'm excited to have Dr. Lauren here with us today.
Hey, everyone.
She's my chiropractor, and we're going to talk about some steps that will help you to have better posture, be more in alignment, and just get through the holidays in a healthy way. And stay tuned until the end, because Dr. Lauren is going to share 3 quick tips that's going to help us get through the holidays. Whether you're traveling or whether you're still working at the office when you're listening to this, it will be very helpful. So, Dr. Lauren, tell us a little bit about what you do and how you help people.
Absolutely. Also, it's like a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited to be able to sit down and chit chat with you. I'm Dr. Lauren Pelkey, for those who have not kind of seen me through the city or know that I am in Fredericton. I'm the proud owner of Serenity Chiropractic. I've been lucky enough to be able to learn and practice in my profession for the last few years or so, about since 2018. I have a huge eagerness to just connect and collaborate with patients. I'm really looking to establish some meaningful therapeutic relationships, but also really empower people along their healthcare journeys. No different than me being here today, chit-chatting with you. I'm always striving to be able to collaborate with other providers in that stream of healthcare that's more of that alternative, but I would also say a bit new aged as well. And I'm just really excited to be here today.
Well, I'm glad to have you. I have really enjoyed our sessions together and your approach, because you're teaching, you're relatable, you listen, all of the qualities that I'm like, okay, we need to talk about this. My people need you.
Yes, my people need you. So it's a win-win.
So I want to start off with 2 things. First, there's a cost to waiting. The second thing is the yo-yoing effect. The cost to waiting is you're increasing your symptoms. And if we learn to listen and pay attention to the warning signs, it's really going to decrease that cost that we have when we're waiting. We wait until it gets to be a bigger problem before we take action. And then whatever health goal we have, taking action in a sustainable way to get the result that we want will help prevent the yo-yo effect that comes from doing something just really quick, maybe wholeheartedly, and yet not sustainable. For years, I thought I knew how to lose weight and even how to keep it off, but I was using willpower. I was determined and I was committed, but I was missing so many of the other components. And the main one being how to manage our mind, how to manage our emotions that was causing us to eat in the first place, causing me to eat in the first place. And therefore, probably you can relate to that. I think we all want a lifestyle that we don't have to take breaks from. We don't have to start and stop. We don't have to go through that yo-yo cycle that is so discouraging when the weight comes back on. When we go into that yo-yo effect, then there's just so many beliefs that come up, and we start to really believe that it's impossible or it's too hard, and that's not necessary. Dr. Lauren, in your practice, you must see people who wait until the last minute, who wait until they're in pain before they come to see you. And I'm curious, do you also see some form of a yo-yo effect?
Yeah, so that's a great question, especially when chiros are often viewed as more of a pain model than a preventative. And so patients often end up in that cycle when they're seeking care for the pain that they're having, but then maybe it subsides, it goes away, they fall off the wagon, they come back on. That really kind of rolls into that yo-yoing of, okay, I think I'm okay, I'm going to stop. But you stop, and then everything else kind of starts falling off the radar too. So maybe you stop eating as well. Maybe you stop with your healthier habits. You stop with chiro. Maybe you're seeing massage, an acupuncturist, a health coach, whoever it may be. You slowly trickle those things out, and then all of a sudden your pain starts to come back, or those symptoms of overwhelm and anxiety and stress come back. And then you end up fluctuating. You're like, okay, I'm in pain. I'm going to go see someone. I'm out of it. I'm good. But then you're right back in through those doors again. So it's tough to navigate that when you have a mindset that is really, like you said, motivation based. There's a podcaster I listen to, actually, Mel Robbins, and she says you can't rely on motivation. You need the discipline. And so being able to integrate that stuff into your daily life and practices and mindset go a very long way.
We all love Dr. Mel, and I think a lot of my listeners actually follow her as well. And I'll add to that, which is something I've learned with Dr. Trivedi, is that its inspiration is even more powerful than motivation. And that's a whole other podcast in itself. Because motivation is more external, whereas inspiration comes from within. And there's a process I lead my clients through to get to that state, which is powerful.
That's awesome.
Here's another thing I want to add from my personal experience with you is I hadn't been to chiropractor since Dr. Shelley left in 2020, I believe. Moved to Costa Rica, good for her. We still stay connected. But because of being a personal trainer, I'm like, I know what to do. I can do these exercises. I know how to stretch out. And I was doing that as long as I was in my workout discipline as well. But that kind of went by the side as well once I realized, oh, we can lose weight without having to exercise, knowing how important exercise is. But I was trying to prove the process so that some who maybe need to lose 100 pounds could go, oh, so I don't have to wait until I have to do it all.
Yeah.
And I absolutely proved it, but it also took me out of my routine and my discipline, my habit. So it's then reestablishing it.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're not working out, it's easier to forget about the importance of stretching. Otherwise, the habit is work out and then stretch at the end. I was walking a ton, and not thinking of that as exercise, and therefore I wasn't stretching. And so, how long it had been? Since 2020, so 4 years later. And my roller, I have to say, my roller kept me, it was my amazing best friend that I still use. But when I came to you, my QL had just said, I think, right?
Yes,
that's what you told me.
It was,
the QL just said, yeah, it said, enough, and it was screaming. Exactly. I couldn't even drive home that day from Portland to Fredericton, where I'm at. I couldn't sit down. I literally was in a stand-up mode, uncomfortable or lying flat. With time and knowing how to rest and listen to my body, I was able to drive home painfully, slowly, lots of breaks on the way back, and then I found her and made an appointment. So I'm so glad I did. I think we're, 3 weeks in maybe of treatment?
There, yeah.
You all will have to stay tuned for my progress. I've done a little bit of workout incorporating that back in, but being careful as well, really listening to my body because it still wants to tighten up. Again, when we wait until our body's screaming at us, it just takes longer to get out of that pattern
Absolutely.
and create a new one, right?
Absolutely.
And for our body to feel safe enough to relax and let go. Anything else you want to add on that?
No, I think you covered most of it.
And let's just talk about what everyone's thinking. How amazing it would be if quick fixes did work, right? It would be so much easier.
Absolutely. I wish I could use quick fixes myself.
I know when people come to me and they want a quick fix, for example, maybe they want to lose 20 pounds in 3 weeks. We all know it's possible if you want to starve yourself, but that is not how I work. I normally just have a good conversation with them, do a little bit of teaching, explaining it. And if they're able to work within that realm, then that's great. And if not, then I'm not their coach, and that's okay. These deeper changes free you from that yo-yo dieting. And what is really important is things like learning how to manage your stress level. When we can manage our stress level, we'll lower the cortisol levels. When our cortisol levels are lower, our insulin is lower. When our insulin is lower, inflammation is lower. So you just have more of a drive to keep going. You're seeing results as a ripple effect in your life, and that's rewarding. And then you can still enjoy things over holidays or special occasions. That's part of living. We don't have to live a restrictive and isolative life in order to maintain our weight. Dr. Lauren, how do you see this deeper lifestyle approach factoring into long-term success?
That's a great question. I want to approach that in a way that's coming from the perspective of creating that really solid lifestyle change versus those really quick, easy fixes in terms of neuroplasticity, and creating an environment around you that is nurturing to your body, in the sense that it is nurturing for creating healthy habits. You have that neuroplasticity in there, and it relies on repetition. I often say that repetition is the language of the brain. So the more that you can incorporate something as a daily habit, whether it is, keeping a great 80-20 rule for dieting, whether it is keeping consistent exercise, whether that's walking, whether that's going to see a massage therapist, an acupuncturist, if you can create repetition in those things, you can create those new pathways to be able to sustain something that's going to take you out of fight or flight. It's going to balance you across the board in terms of mental and physical health, because that's really that's how our body works. It's how it wants to kind of go through life, is you need to teach it. And then if you can sustain that, then you're going to be way better off than if you're trying to just do something right quick.
Exactly. And that new neural pathway then becomes the default mode.
Exactly.
That just becomes part of your identity, part of who you are and what you do in your day-to-day actions.
And it will no longer feel like a chore.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you get that accumulative effect. And like last week's podcast, or the week before, I think, was small wins, like those micro wins lead to big progress.
I often tell people, let your pile of good things grow, because eventually you're going to have a whole pile of good things versus just a couple. But it takes time and consistency and persistence. But
I love that. That's great. We know that holiday brings its own stressors, right, to our body and our mind, because maybe we're up too late at night. We're having those late nights that we enjoy, but there's an impact. There's an after effect from that as well. Then there's just things like traveling to different gatherings, as well as, I know for me, it's when I'm leaning over for long periods doing some wrapping. So any tips or steps that you can offer us to help us get through the holidays in a little healthier way?
Yeah, I'm going to really point my finger at people wrapping the presents, because that is a tough one, because we're all doing it. But I really want to encourage people, instead of, if you're anything like me, I will put myself in this category too. I wrap on the floor. Okay, so I'm grabbing the tape, I'm looking for my scissors, I'm leaning, I'm bending, I'm in a static position for who knows how long, how many gifts I have to wrap. And I want to encourage people to actually move to their dining room tables. So sit in a chair, stand, do it at an island, somewhere that is a little bit elevated, so that you're not bending forward for long periods of time. You're not asking your body to work extra hard. You're kind of working smart, not hard. That's a great one to just kind of mitigate something that we're all going to end up doing
Yes.
no matter what.
I know I already have a plan. I have my wrapping paper out on my table right now. I'm going to go back and forth between the table and the counter because the countertop, as you can see, a little bit higher for me.
Nice.
So I want to make sure that my shoulders aren't up as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the table's a little lower. So it's sort of in between, but just to
Absolutely.
change it up.
Yep. I would
Yeah.
say too, while you're wrapping or especially when we're traveling, because we're sitting in a car for a long period of time, I often tell patients
Mm-hmm.
and myself, I have a lacrosse ball in probably every bag that I own and every place that I stay.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's in my office,
Mm-hmm.
it's in the car, it's at home, I keep a lacrosse ball with me. That's something that you can really use to mitigate any of that tension because you can trigger point work, you can
Yes.
roll against the wall, you can do it on the floor. It's really something that we can give ourselves as a tool to help us get through the traveling, the stress, the
Even
wrapping.
driving.
Yes.
Yeah, I've taken the ball out and put it behind me because when I was teaching fitness classes, I had everyone buy one of those balls and we
Mm-hmm.
used the wall, different points, and found it and then would just stay on it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which chiropractor had did a talk for us and Dr. Jenny maybe.
Yes, Dr.
Yeah, she showed us different ones. So we kept on practicing
Mm-hmm.
that, which was
That's
great.
great. I also see a lot of headaches happening through the holidays as everyone's kind of running around. They're chronically stressed. Maybe it's
Mm,
finances, maybe it's family stuff, maybe it is the traveling that's going to cause you those issues. Hydration.
yeah.
Just hydrate as much as you can. I often tell, I mean, I told you, I tell a lot of people get some electrolytes of some sort
Mm-hmm,
just to
mm-hmm.
relieve that metabolic stress in the body so that you give yourself just that extra leg up to get through any of the stressful stuff that's coming your way through the holidays.
Did I tell you what I did to be able to tolerate those electrolytes because I found
No.
they were too sweet? It's great. I love it now. I took 2 lemons, I squeezed it. And so I'm getting the benefits from the lemon,
Nice.
and I don't drink it like over a long period of time. I drink it so that it's not corrosive to the
Yep.
enamel. But yeah, it's great now because even though it was a natural sweetener, it was just too sweet for me.
Okay.
So I'm enjoying that. That's a little tip in case you need it for one of
I
your
will
clients
absolutely
too, who
use that
says,
for sure.
yeah, you were saying about the headaches. So often that's that sugar burning effect. We're eating way more sugar for the most part than what we're used to. So our body just gives that headache as a symptom. Again, it's a touch point. It's telling us something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you really kind of have to listen to your body through those holiday seasons with that because you don't want to have any extra inflammation that you don't need to deal with, or just be smart about it.
Yeah, and keep maintaining our energy as well
Mm-hmm.
is so important because I want to be able to connect. I want to be able to get out. I want to be able to be active.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, I shared a lot of holiday tips, which include some of these. So if anyone's listening and you want a little bit more, go back to last week's episode because I think you'll really like it. So this has been valuable. But let's talk about someone who may be new to chiropractic. Are there simple steps or simple exercises that you can leave us with today, as I promised at the beginning that you would do?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's tough when you're trying to, pull the trigger on going to a new therapist, whether it's a
Mm,
chiro or an acu or anything else that kind of makes you hesitate. So I often tell people, it's not just about chiro. You can start with massage first. You can start with maybe acu
mm,
first. You could go to yoga first. That's all something that can really start you on that track to helping you feel better and helping your body feel better. Picking up that lacrosse ball, something you can start with as well. But in terms of people
mm.
that are maybe, going through the holiday season, want to get rid of some tension, some stress, there are a couple little tips that I give to people quite often. The first one I'll demonstrate for you. So this is for my desk workers, my travelers, anyone that is in a constant static posture. Now, I say static posture, or you hear bad posture sometimes, but I don't really want to villainize posture. It's more so if we're staying in that position for long periods of time. So I usually say your best posture is your next posture. So as long as you're
Mm-hmm.
getting up and moving, that's a great start. But a good stretch that you can try is you take your hand, you're not going to see my full body here, but what you're going to end up
Mm-hmm.
doing is you're going to put it underneath your thigh and you're going to sit on that hand, palm face up. What you can then do,
Okay,
you got
I'm
her?
doing that right now.
Awesome. So
Yep,
palm face
I'm
up
doing it.
on your hand. What you're going to think about is you're going to think about letting that arm pull your shoulder down by pulling down through your thigh, and you're going to drop your neck in the opposite direction. You should
Okay,
get,
I automatically close my eyes.
yes,
You know
do
that.
whatever feels good, breathe through that.
Yeah.
You should feel the shoulder and the side of the neck really starting to stretch. You can change the angle of your
Mm-hmm.
neck to change the muscles that you're trying to
Can I
stretch.
do this?
Absolutely. Our scalenes live in the side of our neck, but they're very angry muscles. They're our flexors. They're oftentimes really aggravated from sitting and looking at a desk or a forward head carriage. You can do it both sides, but what I really want people to think about when you're stretching, because sometimes you go, oh, I've stretched, I did this at work, but it lasted only a couple of seconds. The really big key when you're stretching is to do it for long enough. So I'm talking 30 seconds minimum, 60 seconds total to really create that physiological change in the body where you get your nervous system to calm down, you come out of fight or flight, you go into rest and digest, the tension bleeds out of the muscle, you get a little bit more blood flow, and you really get the effects of those stretches.
I love how you incorporate the breathing into it as well, because as you're breathing, even the deep breaths can start to get that parasympathetic nervous system stimulated. Yeah. And your body can relax.
Absolutely. You can pair it with, if you're familiar with I know you are, if anyone out there is familiar with diaphragmatic breathing, it's a great thing to incorporate when you're doing those stretches as well. When you're at the desk or sitting, you can also do like a forward fold while you're seated. So you just kind of come down, you hug the back of your knees and just stay there. Let your head hang, let your body kind of decompress, and then bring in that breath work again. You should notice everything start to calm down as well.
Now, what do you recommend if you're doing that? I was hesitant because I did that before getting on this call. And I tend to draw in my core, but I don't know if I should be. The personal trainer in me always is pulling in the core when I go to do something. But I don't know if you want more of a ragdoll effect of just letting everything relax. What's the best practice for that?
I would say as you're going through that hinging motion to get yourself forward, keep your core engaged. It will just de-stress the low back. You can't use one without the other, especially for you, like where we had that QL stuff flaring up. If you can support yourself on the way down as you get into that posture, and then kind of do a bit of a self-check. Yep. If you feel like nothing is going to do anything funky, then really let yourself relax into that stuff.
That's exactly what I did. And that's because the more you do this, the more in tune you get with your body. So like you said, whether that's in yoga first, whether that's in massage, the more we have that mind-body connection, we can trust more. The intuitive part of us knows, okay, remember when I said to take my recycling out and I stepped out on the front step and my body, my lower back just kind of went, I was like, okay, I'm listening. And I just paused. The neighbors must have wondered. I was like this soldier for a moment, but I just breathed into it. And then my body just let go again. I think it was like, okay, what's she doing? She's going to be lifting something heavy. I'm not quite ready for that yet. So we really need to honor and listen to our bodies. And that's where our prevention comes in instead of waiting until it's screaming at us. Like listen for those little nudges, little symptoms.
Yeah, like create the foundation now so that you can navigate those little nudges and those little symptoms on a much easier scale.
Exactly.
So my last one is more so if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling really stressed out, if you're just feeling chaos in the body, but chaos in your external environment as well, is something that I often do when I go to bed at night. And I took it from a yoga teacher. She ran Warrior Yoga in Ottawa. Her name was Cassie Connor, and she pulled it from the Yoga Nidra practice, which is sleep yoga. So what you do is when you're, ramping down for the day, your nighttime routine is done. You're laying in bed, you're trying to get comfortable, you're trying to shut off the ramblings of our brain. Everyone has a really hard time shutting that down. You're laying there, you're going to shut your eyes, you'll kind of level your breaths out a little bit. Maybe you're counting to a count of 4 in and out. But what you're going to start doing is you're going to bring your awareness to your feet first. And really what you're trying to do is you're trying to contract individual muscle groups one by one as you work from your feet all the way up to your head. So maybe you'll start with flexing your toes. And you're going to hold that. You're going to flex as hard as you can for about 30 seconds. Maybe the next one is your ankle. You're going to flex your ankle, hold for 30 seconds. Then you're going to try to...
I'm doing this right now.
Yeah, you're going to push your feet forward like you're hitting a gas pedal. You're going to fire up your calves. You'll hold for 30 seconds. You're going to fire up your quads. So maybe you're extending your legs really, really well, really hard, 30 seconds. You're going to come up. You'll do your abdominals next. So you're going to hold your core really, really strong. You're going to move out into your fingers. You're going to clench your fists.
When I'm drawing that core in really strong, I'm also squeezing my glutes.
Yep, that's perfect.
So I kind of do that around the
Yes,
same
I
time
did. I
frame.
missed those. So you're good. You got them. You can do glutes
That's
too.
okay. Okay.
So core, you're going to come out to your hand. You'll squeeze a fist really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're done that, you're going to extend your fingers really, really wide. And you're going to curl, you're going to bicep curl really, really hard. You can even flex your wrist in towards you. Same thing, you're all holding these for about 30 seconds or as long as you feel good. I always tell people, listen to your body, listen to what feels good. You're going to come in, you're going to curl everything together. And then you're going to flex your neck, whether that looks like a chin tuck or not, whatever that works with for you. Yep. You'll clench your jaw really, really hard. Mm-hmm. And then you're just going to stop. And you're going to like melt into the mattress. And you're going to really be able to feel if there's an area you have to go back to, or if you feel like that is enough and it was enough to kind of let your body down regulate. And then you go to sleep. Mm-hmm. And it's a really, really great way to relax.
It's beautiful. For me, having had the 3 whiplashes plus rolling in a vehicle, which created part of these problems.
Absolutely.
I also, when I'm doing that, I put my neck side to side. Yeah. Again, I just kind of roll slowly side to side. I don't tense up my neck. I might bring my shoulders up, but not to the point. But then I really bring them down. Mm-hmm. Another thing, like some people may be like me, I can go to sleep fast. It might take me 9-10 minutes max to go to sleep. But if I wake up at 3 and my mind starts going, doing this is so worthwhile because while we're thinking of contracting and releasing, that's what we're thinking about. We're thinking about our body and we're out of our mind more about what we were thinking about. Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic and something so portable.
Yes,
right?
always.
You don't need any equipment.
You can do it in a hotel room, your car, your bed, whatever.
Exactly. Even on an airplane, you can do that too.
Airplanes are notorious. So. Those things are not comfortable. I don't know who designed them.
I know. I'm one of those passengers who gets up and is at the very back and I'm stretching out my hamstrings and quads.
Right, the lacrosse balls in our carry-on
back
bag.
row. Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. So as we come to a close, is there anything that maybe you were hoping to be able to share that, we've kind of gone off our topic and just let it flow as needed, but is there anything you'd like the listeners to be able to have as an extra takeaway?
Yeah, I would say really if anyone out there is hesitating or maybe you've been thinking about chiro or starting your healthcare journey, whether it's with me or with Florinda, I just want everyone to really feel at peace with chiro and if they're coming to chiro, because there's a lot of fear sometimes that's around the profession, which is a tragedy, but it is what it is. That's okay. It is a very gentle, tailored modality, I guess, for your healthcare or a tool for your toolbox. So I'm there to guide you and mentor you and help you. No different than Florinda is there to guide you and mentor you and help you. And I always want everyone to kind of feel safe and like they can approach me and they can approach chiro, whether it's with me or another chiro in the city. Everyone is a little bit different. That's totally okay as well. But there's 1,000,001 things we can help you guys with. There's 1,000,001 ways we can work with the body, work with other people. And I just really want people to feel like they can approach that and that it is a safe place to be able to land and to be able to take off into your own health.
That's beautiful. In anticipating just the changes coming up for the new year. And hopefully there's been encouragement, but also a little drive and nudging for whoever's listening. Exactly. To say, I want to do something different this year. This coming year, I want to make this my healthiest year ever. Whatever that looks like. I've created a PDF that's downloadable. It's easy. It is called Plan of Action, basically. You can have like 4 different plan of actions. You can add in more. But just to think of the different areas of your life, I don't recommend trying to change everything all at once because that's just too overpowering. And you're setting yourself up for maybe not being able to follow through. But it can be one simple step in one area and maybe another area, and then really focus on the area that you need to bring into the most balance. So whatever is going to be a needle mover for you, and I like to call it the domino effect, that if you can get, say, your weight off, and then that's decreasing the inflammation, easier on the joints, then you're able to add in the exercise without having harm on your joints. You're not going to want to do high impact if you have 100 pounds to lose and you already have inflammation in your joints. That just wouldn't be wise. So if it is that, you know what, I have a hard time even moving my mobility right now, that's where my mindset is. I'm really down. Then you might want to start with chiro or massage and get some movement in that way. Tackle one or two bigger areas and then little tiny touch points in other areas to give that balance, I think is really helpful.
Yeah,
so I'll put that PDF link in the show notes in the description so that you can get started on that. Even if you don't start it until the new year, you can download it so you start to think about it, right? I said in last week's, it's that marinating process that we open up, we crack our belief system and thinking that I've tried it all, or I've tried too many times, I've started and stopped. And instead I want this to bring hope for you and the possibility that it's so worthwhile. It's so worth the investment of your time and money when it comes to your health, especially.
Always make it a priority because we won't always have it.
And just know that registration is open for Feel Light, Mind, and Body, the 3-month program. It begins January 13th. You can do this from anywhere in the world. There's also a fast action bonus because I love my action takers. Those who register before December 30th will receive a free 30-minute one-on-one session with me where we can look at what you may see right now as your biggest challenge, your obstacle. You can do it early in the program or you can do it anytime through those 3 months. But it will expire on December 30th, so don't even wait till New Year's Eve. It'll be gone so that you can have a plan in place. You can go into Christmas knowing, you know what, I have a plan in place, have more peace of mind. Maybe it is we're going to find out where Dr. Lauren, where you can reach out to her. It could be that you can start booking your appointments for January. You don't have to wait until January comes.
Absolutely. It's definitely always good to have a plan in place and set yourself up for success before it's kind of out of sight and out of mind.
So where can our listeners find you? What's the best way to follow you, but also to reach out to get an appointment?
So I have a website. That's where you'll be able to find all my online booking. I have an Instagram as well that I'll post on just some educational stuff here and there. You can also find my blog for some educational stuff on what you think that maybe a chiropractor might be able to help you. But all my online booking is there right through the portal links on my Instagram or my website. And then my email's on there as well. So if you ever have any personal questions, or actually there's a chat box form on there. So if you're not sure if you might be in the right direction, or maybe you need me to help guide you in a different direction to someone else as well, you can fill out the form on my site and I'll be able to get back to you guys.
Awesome. And I think you're going to add the exercises there today that you talked about?
Yeah. So by tomorrow,
my understanding?
by tomorrow we'll have all the exercises that I went over on my blog, and then Clarinda's links will be in there as well, and the podcast, so you can kind of have a one-stop shop there on my end as well.
Perfect. As you can see, your health is about so much more than just what you eat or what you do. It is that connection between your mind and body. So this year coming up, whether you are working with me, whether you choose to work with Dr. Lauren or combine, I'll still be going to her. Maybe we'll run into each other in between if you're local. But whatever that might be, I want you to start visualizing it now. Think about where you want to be a year from now and how you want to feel. And then download that PDF, print it off, look at it, and make some decisions, because staying in indecision is painful. And what happens is we procrastinate until our bodies actually start screaming at us. And we're both on here today because we don't want that to happen to you. Making prevention and alignment part of our lifestyles will be so rewarding. Once again, thank you, Dr. Lauren, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, and I believe that you have left us with some tips that's going to make a difference, not only in getting through the holidays, but in creating a life that we can feel more energized with and comfortable with in 2025. I think we've demonstrated together that health is so much more than just what we eat or how we move. It's a combination of all of it. It's connecting the mind and body so that we can feel, like I say in my program, light, mind, and body. Let's make prevention and alignment part of our lifestyle, not just a reaction to pain. Taking action now is where it's going to begin. So download your PDF, write down a few things. That can change, but just get started. A year from now, you'll be so glad that you did. If you found value in this, share it, rate it, review. When you do that for the podcast, it's going to allow me to bring on more podcast guests like this, as well as reach more women. We're all about women empowering more women. So let's spread that love. Let's support each other on our journey towards health and just have the best experience possible. Doing things alone on your own can be a lonely place to be. So reach out. Don't stay stuck. Don't stay in pain. Don't think that there isn't a solution for you. Reach out to a health professional that you know can help you. I appreciate you, and as a thank you and an incentive, because I know it takes a few minutes to do those things, to leave a review or even to share it, I'm starting from now until probably the second week of January, that anyone who shares, anyone who rates, anyone who reviews, you take a screenshot of it, you send it to me, however you want to send it to me, and every time you do that, your name goes in for a draw for an Amazon gift card. I do love to support local, but I recognize that this is not local. It's actually global now, the podcast. So I want to make sure this is able to reach everybody and everyone can get some use out of it. Okay, that's all. Whatever you're doing today, do it mindfully, in alignment. I know I'm going to be doing probably some snow removal. My car is loaded right now. And Dr. Lauren, what are you doing today? What do you have fun on the go? Or maybe it's work.
I'm avoiding the snow at all costs, but I go to yoga at 4. So yeah,
perfect,
keep it mindful
perfect.
there.
So you'll be taking care of
Absolutely.
yourself. I think I don't see you until the next week, so I'll make sure that I'm doing my exercises, that I roll out after I do clean off the snow, so that I get a check mark from my chiropractor.
Right, I should get a gold sticker.
Oh, okay. I haven't had one yet.
No, that's awesome. I look forward to seeing you next week, and thank you again for just inviting me on here as well and being able to kind of share my mind and have this experience.
Oh, you're so welcome. It was a pleasure. And I just want to say that I appreciate you. I appreciate your approach. I appreciate that you are holistic in it and it's not just in and out and a quick crack.
Thank you.
I know we didn't get into that, but it's an extra bonus that I love about this.
I pride myself on that. So
awesome. Okay, everyone, I'll see you next week, which will be Christmas Eve if you're listening to this in real time. And yes, I'm still going to do a short podcast. So stay safe and enjoy the holidays and connecting with those you love.